Cool. It is just gone past 1:30, so I think we'll get this session going. Um, this session is how to set up and grow a paid membership site by Ivan Peterser. I'm looking forward to this talk. So yeah, I'll not say any more.
Thanks, Egan. Hi. Hope everyone is having a good WordCamp Jo'burg 2017, and yeah, thank you for coming to this talk. So the title of my talk is how to set up and grow a paid membership site, but I just wanted to talk to you first about a few concepts, such as why it's a good idea to have this sort of business model in the first place. What does it even look like? And what I'm hoping you take away from this talk today is like if you're thinking of an idea that you're launching and you think, oh, but maybe it's not possible, I think you'd be surprised at how many applications there can be for a business model like this. So my name's Ivan. I own two small companies. One is We Manage Your Site. We're a WordPress support company. So people pay us a small monthly retainer, and we do like WordPress support for them, like plug-in breaks or whatever, that kind of thing. And then MPG Media, which is a more traditional sort of design, web design and graphic design agency. Yeah, I've been using WordPress for only about 3 years now. So I've only started using WordPress in 2014, and before then I was using like Wix and stuff. So yeah, no. But since I started using WordPress, I've constantly found that when you finish a project, it's not always like done. Like a customer's always coming back, and you build a relationship with your customers. And I was inspired by. Okay, so I'll come back to that slide. I was inspired by a talk I heard way back then by Seth Godin about building tribes and how people form like communities, especially today with like there's so many platforms out there, and then how you can exercise your passion and grow a business around a small community of people that associate themselves with your brand or your tribe. So that's how I started getting into these into this paid memberships, recurring revenue model sort of that's what piqued my interest in it. So the reason you would want a paid membership site is because of the recurring revenue business model. So it's there's just a distinction between it's where somebody pays you continually, like in most cases it's once a month to be part of your tribe or your group or your brand, and there's a distinction between paying your car off every month. That's not that. It's somebody who wants to be a part of your group, and they pay you every month, and that creates an opportunity for you to build relationships. So that leads me into the benefits of such a business model. It gives you an opportunity to build relationships with your members and with your customers. So if you don't have to like get hundreds of customers just to stay in business, where it's just like one-off and done customers. If you don't have to do this on like a huge scale either, which is what but you can. But so it creates an opportunity to build relationships with these tribes, so to speak, that you're building. Another benefit is it creates a predictable income. So if you know I have 100 members paying me $10 a month, then I know I'm getting $1,000 every month, and that gives you a chance to excel at what you're good at and what you're passionate about. So you don't have to worry about where am I going to find my next customer, rather how am I going to please my existing customers. So that's really a very valuable thing for me. And that goes into the next point, lower customer churn. So and I'm not. There are a lot of great services out there that are like single. You deliver a service and then you're finished, and then there's only after-sales service. But with a recurring revenue business model, you keep your customers, and they stay a part of you if you add value and if you make it worth it for them to stay part of your group. It is scalable, especially for paid membership sites that focus on content. So, for example, well, actually, I'll get into some use cases, but it's if you do it well and it works well, then it can grow. So that's the point on scalable. And the last benefit I have on my slide here is, and the reason I put new here is low barrier of entry. So in like even 10, 15 years ago, you couldn't just decide, no, I'm going to start a little business where I'm going to charge customers monthly and I can have it up and running in a few days. But today that is possible. You can literally, with the tools at your disposal, especially now thanks to WordPress, you can have it up and running if you have the right vision and you execute it correctly in a very short period of time with a very limited amount of resources. So that's really what's key. And I've taken advantage of that myself in my WordPress support business, and it's been it's still hard work. Don't get me wrong, but it's much more possible now than it was even 5 or 10 years ago. So the low barrier of entry is really a new benefit that's possible. So I don't know. Has any of you read or listened to any of Seth Godin's stuff? Yeah. Okay, I can see a few hands. Okay. Yeah. So Seth Godin, he wrote this book about tribes, and when he says tribes, he doesn't mean it in like an anthropomorphic sense. He means like marketing tribes. For example, if you have a music shop in Jo'burg, and you have a dedicated mailing list of readers in like the Jo'burg and Gauteng area, that is your tribe. And when they read your content, and they can't wait for your next blog post or your next mail on the newsletter, and you know that's an opportunity for you to sell to them because they trust you, and that's where that whole group is really so great. And then that second quote, I kind of paraphrase it. It's from a podcast. He talks about writing for his tribe. So, but I just changed it a bit. So, you can build, write, or create content for your group or your tribe, and that's so yeah. That's where the Seth Godin quotes. Okay, so I just wanted to drill down on a few of those benefits. So the relationship building. Customers, as I've mentioned, are not just like single purchase and forget clients. You build a relationship with them, you engage with them on a frequent basis, and they become automatic repeat customers because and they generate automatic repeat business because you're adding value to them. If they are willing to pay you to be part of that music shop's website where they get like monthly newsletters or premium or some form of premium content, then that creates value for them, and then that goes into again to my last point, where you can really then like if you're passionate about music in the music shop example, then you can really experiment with ideas and add value. So I'm just going to briefly touch on the predictable income benefit. So it's sustainable if you create value. That's why. So having a paid membership site where you, even if you start collecting payments every month, if you're not going to be adding value to those to your tribe, to your group, then people are going to leave, because it's not like this is not credit. They don't have to pay you every month. They give you permission to bill them every month because they see value in being part of your group. So another benefit of this model is especially true for content creators. It makes your income location independent. So that's where the whole digital nomad, which is a term being used now, for a while now, And if you use this business model, you can really make that dream a reality. If you have set up, your small group of people, and that income is enough to cover your expenses, and and you've got some growth, then you can, as long as you have internet connection and a laptop, you can work from anywhere. So that's another awesome benefit from this business model. And again, excelling what you're good at. When you're constantly busy with growing and adding value to your customers, it also hones your skills in your own field. So you're improving your skill. Like, let's say, for example, you have a website where you teach people coding, and and they pay a monthly fee to be part of that. Then the more you're going to be engaging with your learners, the more your own skills are going to improve as well, because you're just active and involved with your members, and you create value through focus. Okay, so so a paid membership site is simply the vehicle through which you achieve this this recurring revenue business model platform. So it's a website through which you deliver your content, service, or product, and it's also the vehicle through which you bill your customers. And that's actually a very important point, which I'll touch on just a bit later. So I've identified, in doing research for this talk, I've identified 3 use cases where you can apply this business model. So the first is content sites with some premium content. So like blogs, but certain articles or you have to be a member to be part of, and something like education or health and fitness, or maybe even like something like a legal advice site where they blog about stuff happening in the legal world, but if you want like one-on-one legal advice, then you can also join to be a member, something like that. So that can be achieved through a paid membership site. And a second use case that I've encountered here is something that might not be initially what you think of when you think of a membership site, is physical products. So it's not like how does somebody pay you monthly for something physical? So, and I'm not talking about pay to use sort of thing. So we're going to dive into a few examples just now, and then services. So I guess that's also where your legal advice or that sort of thing can come in, but you can also use this platform to provide services through a paid membership site. So I'm just going to run through some examples. The first point I mentioned was content creators. So here's an example called Fit Tutor. So what they do is they offer workout programs and like nutrition plans for people online, and they do still have a blog, and they have like a whole free section and everything, but then they offer further, like after you've read all the blog articles and everything, they offer further content such as workout programs, video exercise tutorials, and then they have like different levels. So, from a very basic level, entry level, right up to a very premium level. And once they have, if you look at this, you don't need like thousands and thousands of customers to make a success. You need a group of people who are passionate about your brand and about your product, and if you take care of them, then they'll take care of you. And so that's a content example. So here's the interest, like something that's really interesting for me is how do you deliver physical products through a paid membership program. So I'm going to run through some examples. Has anybody here ever used this service called Loot Crate? I can see 3 hands. I have 4 hands. Okay, cool. Yeah. So Loot Crate's an example. So how Loot Crate works is you pay monthly, and then every month they send you like a box of goodies like toys and T-shirts and posters, and it's all to do with sort of this culture, like popular culture, pop culture items, and that's a very good example of how you can deliver a physical product through a paid membership site. and here's another example. Blue Apron. So Blue Apron's a website where you pay monthly, and then once a week they deliver a little box. And this is not in South Africa yet, but once a week they deliver a little box at your house with a recipe book and like all the ingredients you need to make like awesome little cooking like meals, and it's like gourmet meals, and it's at very good prices. So and that creates a culture of like, and then there's people like obviously going on in social media about like, oh, look at this souffle I baked or whatever. I wouldn't use this myself, but it's another example there, like where the Loot Crate tribe is very different from the Blue Apron tribe, because they're people passionate about cooking and delivering awesome gourmet meals. And here's another example of physical products. Dollar Shave Club. Anybody heard of that? Okay, so this is really cool. It's like shaving, like razors is like a really expensive. I don't know if anybody's noticed that. I don't know. If, like some of you may not have, but yeah. So this is another example of a great of somebody creating like this whole. It's like this craft, like sort of also like you have this craft beer sort of culture now, and there's this like a whole culture around. You know, I can't think of the word of it, but they offer packages where it's like $5 for your first month, and then $9 a month, and then they send you little goodies. And every month they include like more than just like razors. They build their tribe. They have little like motivational messages and stuff in all their packaging and branding, and it's really exciting once you have like this group of people that you're servicing, because you can really excel and like come up with new creative ideas and then people talk about it on social media, and that gets more people to join. So it's really about creating this sort of culture around your products and services. So the last point that you can also deliver through a paid membership site is services. So here's an example of this is actually one of my clients. So they deliver like social media automation services, and they charge a monthly fee for it. Now a lot of like software as a service companies have this recurring revenue business model. But it is possible to deliver that through WordPress as well, such as this customer. So that's you can deliver. And then I've got my own. This is our little company. We deliver WordPress support services. We charge our customers a monthly fee, and then they have a little dashboard where they log in and can view their tasks and all that. So it's a great platform for like a paid membership site is a great platform for creating these groups of people that you want to market to. So there's some things that you need to separate from like sort of the older way of creating recurring billing customers. So you have to make it fast and easy to join. So don't think about like debit order forms and stuff like that, because like a lot of like in most cases in South Africa, if you want to join something that you pay monthly, you do a debit order. But that's I believe we're all moving away from that, and so I wouldn't recommend doing like especially if you're like a one-person startup with a WordPress site. You're not going to want to send people forms to sign and all this to join. You want a platform where it's easy for them. They just enter their credit card info and boom, they're part of your service. And it's also important to have well-designed landing pages and sign-up pages. And it's very important to have it mobile responsive. So, because a lot of people will be browsing, especially around like if the traffic's coming from like social media or something, they're going to be looking at your site through a phone. So it's very important that it's mobile responsive. Okay, and then so I mentioned debit orders and how you don't want to do that. So there are payment gateways that you can use. So PayFast is the South African payment gateway. Have you heard of them? No, sorry. Yeah, so PayFast is like it's a really great platform if you want to payment gateway if you want to sell in rands, and they do have subscriptions now. So, like I think it was about 6 months ago or something, they started offering recurring billing. So it is still new, and we're very excited when PayFast started offering that. And then there's PayPal. So it doesn't have rand as a currency yet, but I think there are workarounds. But yeah, it's PayPal. You should be aware. It's like rand isn't really a supported currency. And then there's Stripe and 2Checkout. I've used all of these. I've used Stripe for a client a few times, and I've used all three of the other ones on some of the own sites we've used. And 2Checkout is available in South Africa, and you can charge in rand if you want. But if you're going to be selling to South African clients and you haven't decided, I would go with PayFast. So just a note on that. I originally, did anybody download the homework folder? Okay, one person. Oh, great, thanks. Yeah, so I originally had a PayFast sort of folder in there, but I'm not going to actually do that in this talk, because that would be editing the plugin a bit, and that's not what we want to do. And the people at Paid Memberships Pro has informed me that they will have PayFast integration in the near future. So that's another PayFast. So PayFast is coming as an option. So okay, so there's things to keep in mind when you're choosing a payment gateway. The costs, obviously. So most charge between 3 to 5% of the transaction total, and an additional small fixed fee per transaction. I believe PayFast is R2 or something like that. Yeah, thanks. And yeah, so it's not very high, and they don't charge you a monthly fee to use their service. They only charge you on each transaction. So and it's like super fast and easy to join. So yeah, and also keep in mind what currency you're going to be selling in. If you're going to be doing anything international, just use dollars. And if you're going to be doing anything local, obviously use rand. So other things to keep in mind is your business location. So in the case of Stripe, for example, it may have rand as a supported currency, but you can't be a registered business here and use Stripe. So yeah, just keep that in mind. And then taxes and stuff, especially when dealing with like overseas sales, you should also just keep that in mind. Okay, so then just touching again on adding value for your members. So it's important to make their subscription worth keeping. So if you're creating community content, it's important to make it appealing to them. You know, don't do the same thing and become stagnant. So that's an important point. And then if you're creating a community around your brand, you know, with today you have to do like social media and all that. I'm like, if it's almost analogous to having a party, and you want everybody to be part of your party, but it's, you know, have to make it appealing for people. So there's lots of little add-ons and things you can think of, like tweet for rewards to create that virality. And then another point is to engage with your members as often as possible. And this is most likely going to happen either on social media or through your customer support. So that goes into my last point, where it's very important that you offer amazing customer service. So there's a company called Zappos. Has anybody heard of Zappos? Yeah, that company has the owner of that company, Tony Shea, says they're just a customer support company who happens to sell shoes. So they put this really important emphasis on it, like delivering great customer service. So if you do that, you've already done half the work of keeping your members subscribed. Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna do a quick demo. So for those of you who did download the files, I can just show you how to set everything up, but please keep in mind that at the end of the talk there's a resource page where there's a video indicating how to do this again. So there's a step-by-step video of this. There's also resources that that I'll touch on in a bit. So okay, so I'm just going to hop over to my WordPress installation. Okay, so actually let me hop over to this file. So there was a Dropbox folder that I created for this talk, and it has a few folders in with like WordPress if you need it, if you want to run it locally. And then there's a posts export, and then the plugins we're going to use. So I've got a fresh WordPress installation here. It's the normal 2017 theme. I just changed the background a bit because that that table with that plant is seen that too much. So yeah, the first thing we're going to do. So this is now for those who are following along. But if you just want to take notes, that's fine. Okay, so the first thing you want to do. Okay, let me just get my screen right. Okay. So the first thing we want to do is import some posts into this fresh WordPress installation. So the reason I'm doing this is just so that you have 3 posts to work with. So if you have a WordPress site with posts and like that you're playing around with, you don't need to do the import. So I've added, let me just go here. I've already added that, but anyway. In that WordPress, in that Dropbox folder, I've added a plugin called WordPress Importer. So that'll be under plugins and that one. So I'm just going to quickly do that. Install. I think it's already installed, but let me just go through it. Okay. Yeah, it's already installed, but yeah, you should just install and activate that. And then I'm just going to import the posts. So you just go to Tools, Import, and then click on Run Importer. And then you'll see in the Dropbox folder this weird XML file is the posts that I put there. So you just import them. So I'm not going to import them now because I exported them from here. So so the only reason I did that is so that I can have some posts to work with. So once you've imported those 3 posts, you should see these 3 posts have been imported. So anybody, okay, everybody okay with that? Anybody need help with that? Okay, let me just quickly. No problem. that's sorted. So just to those who are following along, you should just have these 3 posts. So, okay, so I've done that. So you'll see this is still just a normal WordPress website. I just used a bit of a theme, but there's 3 posts that I imported here, and you can see that some of them are categorized. This one, this one's under food tips, and this one over here is categorized, is actually uncategorized. So before I set up my paid membership site, I just want to decide which of my posts I want as premium content. So keep in mind you can always change this later, nothing's set in stone. So the way I'm going to do it now is I'm going to create a category for my membership content, and then when we install the paid memberships plugin, we'll just select that category. So I'm just going to choose this one over here, and I'm just going to create a new category for it called, let's just say, members only. Okay. Keep going that. Okay, so the next step is, and this is probably where most of you will apply this, because you will already have posts and pages and all that, is installing the Paid Memberships Pro plugin. So in the Dropbox folder, if you're following along, or in the WordPress repo. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like when you search for it in the WordPress repo. Okay, so it's that one. But I'm not going to install it from here. I'm going to use the file, but you can use either. Okay. Paid Memberships Pro. Install. Okay, activate. Okay, so I've just now installed it, and you'll see now there's a new tab over here that says memberships. So now we're going to do like just the setup process. So just click on that, and it's so the first thing you'll have to do, and it's quite nice the way it just goes from left to right the way you set it up. So so the first thing you have to do is set up a membership level. So like a lot of you will only have one membership level, like your premium category. But remember, in the case of FitTutor, they have different levels. They have like it's like Starbucks. You have the small, medium, large coffee. So you can also offer varying packages with different sort of privileges. So, but in the case of this, I'm just going to add one level. So just click Add New Level. You give your level a name. Say, for example, okay, and then over here in description, you're just going to type the text that will describe that level, like when people are selecting their levels, what that'll say. So okay, and then a confirmation message. That's after they've completed, if they've decided, cool, I want to sign up, then you can write like a little thank you message here. Thank you. It might also be a good opportunity for you to send them to like different resource pages, or to different action pages. Like once they've signed up, if you're like the health and fitness example, you maybe want to start, okay, let's start with your first program. Click here. So. But I'm just going to say thank you for signing up. Just know that that is an opportunity for you to put more information. Okay. Then over here is the initial payment. So this will be how much you collect at checkout. So let's say I want to collect 50. Now you see there's a $sign. If you're going to be selling in a different currency, don't worry about this right now. we will get to currency just a bit later on. So if you're going to be selling 50 Rand, put 50 there. So it doesn't matter that symbol initially. And then if you're going to be doing a recurring payment, then you have to check that box and then select how much you want to collect. So this will be immediately, and then this will be how much every month then going forward. And you can select different time intervals here, but I've yet to find any, like, I don't know, any other, like charging weekly or something. I would just recommend for most businesses monthly is fine. And our goal is to create this group that stays with you, recurring. So I'm not going to put a limit there, but just know that that is possible. And there's a few other features here you can use, like a custom trial period. I haven't used that yet, so I wouldn't recommend that. But I don't know. It is there. I just haven't used that myself. And then if you want the membership to expire on a certain day, you can tick that. But this is really where you want to be sure you select. Remember when we said the members only category? So you choose that as your category that you want to give users, your paying users, access to. Okay, so you hit save. Great, and it automatically then brings this message up over here. So you can set up your member pages. So what these are, let's click on that. What these are essential pages that you need for your paid membership site to work. So what you can do, you'll see they give you the shortcodes. So if you want like your own designed page and you want to put their account information and billing information and the invoice page on certain designed pages, you can use these shortcodes to put them in certain blocks. But for most use cases, I would recommend just clicking on that button, and it goes and creates those pages for you. So it saves you a lot of effort if you're setting your site up. So that's great. So I just click that, it sets everything up, and I hit save. Cool. Okay, so now that that's set up, you can again see that the plugin wants you to do the next step. So you just click on that. So here's where your payment gateway is set up. So I'm going. So you'll see there's a few payment gateway options here, and I just know that PayFast is coming soon. So just that will be in a release coming soon. So let's just say, for example, you choose PayPal. Then you will. Okay, hold on. Just not seeing something. Okay. So then you'll enter your PayPal information here. So if you, I don't know what that means. Okay, thanks. I honestly didn't do anything. Okay. So yeah, well, so you enter your PayPal information here, or if you're using a different payment gateway like to checkout, you would enter this information here that you would get from your payment gateway. So you would just enter that there. I've used to checkout also myself, so it's a bit different depending on which payment gateway you choose. Just for the purposes of this, I'm just going to leave it on testing. And then it's just a note that here that about SSL. You should have an SSL installed on your site if you're going to be doing recurring billing. So a lot of hosts offer Let's Encrypt now or with Auto SSL, but if you get stuck on any of the SSL issues, there's in the resource page at the end of this demo, there's a way for you to easily sort that out. And so yeah, so you want to. So in most cases, you would enter your. You would say force SSL yes, but we're just testing now, so I'm just gonna leave that as no. Okay, so just keep in mind in the resources page at the end of the demo, there'll be more detailed information on payment gateway, because that's always like a sort of technical thing, and I don't want to enter that on a projector here in front of all of you. So, okay, so the next step in the setup will be your email. So where your email is sent from. So when people sign up and when they change their level and when they interact with your paid membership site, they'll be receiving emails back and forth from your website. So here you can say where it should be sending from. So let's say, for example, I don't know, I'm just going to put my site here as an example, and you can choose a from name. Okay, and then this is this just, if you check that, it'll say only the paid memberships pro emails will use these settings. If you leave it unchecked, all your websites emails will use these settings. And then when to get emails. So send the site admin email. So do you want to know when a member checks out, it sends you an email, when there's any changes. So I would recommend just leave all these updated, so whenever a user updates their profile, you want to know. So, okay. And then this setting here, I would recommend also leaving unchecked. You can, because when you sign up for WordPress, you get this like sort of WordPress default sign up email. But if you leave this unchecked, you get like a thank you for signing up with your new membership level and like a little more detailed information email. So I'm just going to save. Okay, and then the next tab I'm going to go to is advanced, but it's not something that you should shy away from. It's actually quite straightforward. So there's a lot of default messages that people receive, and you can change these messages over here. It's in HTML, but you don't have to change any of these details. But what I do want to draw your attention to is some of the settings over here. So searches and archives. So if you have a blog page and all your blog posts are feeding through there, and you have some of the premium content, you can either hide the premium content completely from that blog page, or you can show them, but with excerpts, and that's like my preferred way of doing it, but you can change that. So I will just set this to no, and say yes, show excerpts. Now the reason I do that is to, and that's just my thinking, but your business might be different, is if you show excerpts, you entice the user. You give them a little bit, and then if they want to read more, they have to sign up. So that's a great way to do that. And hide ad, that's not relevant to this talk. And then use reCAPTCHA is just like that Google thing if you want to use it. And then over here, if you, and this is actually highly recommended, if you have terms and conditions on your site, which will just be on one of your pages over here, then you can go and select that page over here, and before users complete the transaction, they have to tick that little box that says I accept the terms and conditions, and then you sign up. So cool. So yeah, that's it. We've gone through the setup process. So let's just take a look at what that looks like. So I remember, I think it was this one that I said I wanted to be part of the premium offering. So you'll see here it gives me a little bit of an excerpt, but then it says this content is for membership only. Let me actually open an incognito window so you can see what your end users will see. So they'll see either log in, because some of them might be users already, but they've just been logged out, or register. And it all uses the WordPress user table. So you log in and log out using WordPress details. So let's just say register. Then remember when we were setting up our levels, we said only one level, but if you have multiple levels, then they'll all be displayed here, and then you can select it. So I'm just going to select starter. And then this is that description that we typed in the beginning. So this will give a little bit more detail about that. Now keep in mind, there are, you have the shortcodes, so you can place this on your own design pages. And then there are add-ons if you want to customize and style these various paid memberships pro things. So I'm just going to create an account here. Let's just see. Okay. Which one haven't I used yet? Okay. Okay, and then you enter your billing information. So this is all test information for the purposes of this demo, but here you will you'll be taken to the payment gateway relevant pages. Let me just, oops. Okay, so okay, and you enter your. So this this section over here, payment information. This will vary depending on the payment gateway you've chosen. So Payfast looks a little bit different. PayPal's looks a little bit different. And Stripes, for example, will also look a little bit different. So I'm just going to enter this as an example. Okay. So let's just pretend this is a real checkout. Okay. Okay, and then once you've completed the checkout, now your member will be receiving emails. You'll get an email saying, "Oh, you've got a new member." The member gets an email that you can customize, by the way, that says, "Thank you for joining. These are the next steps. Here's your invoice," all that, and then you can proceed to the membership account. So that's what it will look like for. And now you have a premium member, and now this person can actually read that article now. So. Remember that it's not just blog posts. You can literally do anything. If you, that's what's so great about WordPress. You can do like custom post types and give people access to that do all sorts of interesting things with plugins, and the possibilities are endless. So, but even content is something that you can make premium and then segment that way. So that's it. You've set up a paid membership site, and now you can tweet about it or something. So okay, so I'm just going to go back to my slides. So before I get to the growing it, does anybody have any questions so far about what I just did with the demo? Okay. Yeah, so Payfast is there is actually a way you can integrate Payfast with this as is, but it's a bit of a workaround. So I'd rather wait for the official Payfast gateway support to be released by the plugin author before doing that, which should be in the near future. But if you do need, if you're very interested in this and you do need Payfast integration, just come speak to me after the talk, and I'll assist you with that. Any other questions? Okay. Okay. So, and then I just want to touch on growing the site. So, content marketing is a way. So, it's this whole inbound marketing like philosophy. So, I do some of it, and we do get customers that way. But I'm not like a marketing expert. But there's different channels that you can use to grow it, like content marketing and pay-per-click campaigns like Google AdWords and Facebook ads and that kind of thing. And then traditional media is still a way you can get your membership site to grow. And the last two is something that I want to touch on. If you have a membership site that you can do locally, and you can, I mean, like in this online world, you think, oh, I have to reach out on Facebook and everything. But with a membership site like this, it's just a vehicle to get people into your tribe and into your group. So you can engage with real people, at networking events such as this or anything. And if your business model is set up so that once you have your small little tribe going, and that covers your lifestyle, then you win. I mean, you don't need to have this mega marketing. It's like become this $1 million company overnight. You can start small. So the way you set up your recurring payment levels is the way you can do that. So, and then the last point is just add value to people's lives. So again, I've reiterated it like several times. If you don't add value, your members will leave. So that's the most important thing. Okay, so there's resources. I set up a website at paymeagain.com because it's recurring payments. So and then you'll find all slides materials, installation, how-to video, what I just did as a video. There's reading material and podcast links. But there's also something, let me just bring that side up actually. Okay, so this thing is this resolution. Oh, it is mobile responsive. So this is the page. So you'll find all the useful links that, all the resources here. So all the slides I've used in my presentation are here. You can get in touch if you have questions. Just if you have general questions about Payforce, for example, or about setting up paid membership sites, you can get in touch there. There's my Twitter. And then over here is just useful links that I find found useful growing these two businesses. So one is obviously the step-by-step video how to install it, and then there's a blog called Smart Passive Income. I don't know if anybody's read it. It's like a very popular blog. See one person there, 2 people. So there's the link to that, and then there's the Paid Memberships Pro site where you can download the plugin. And then Paid Memberships Pro is a sponsor of this event, so they have graciously offered us $100 discount off of their premium offering. So there's that gives you access to like a whole library of extra add-ons, and it gives you access to a support forum. And I highly recommend taking advantage of this exclusive offer that you'll also find on this page. So that's the resources page. Which way am I swiping? Okay, there we go. Okay, and that's it. The last thing I want to leave you with is this quote by Jeff Bezos, where he says he sees customers as guests invited to a party, and the business owner or the content creator, you're the host of that party, and that you have to make sure that that value is being added to that customer, or they'll just leave. So yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. Is there any questions on the talk in general, or okay?
I just wanted to find out about the products, to set up a subscription to the product.
Mm-hmm.
For example, getting something every month. How would that work in the demo?
Yeah, so you'd have to build your site to do that. But for example, if how I would do it is I would use those shortcodes in the different ways, and I would have somebody sign up, and then you collect that information, and then they have their little customer portal, and then off-site you would then well, this person signed up, send her a loot crate or whatever. So you don't necessarily, I mean, once you've collected that payment and this person is a member, then send him the package, and in their My Account area they'll have their invoice from when they signed up. So it's almost taken care of for you. But I understand that that you may want to customize it a bit. So we've done extensive customization of our website, but it's still built around the Paid Memberships Pro plugin, where we have customers logging tasks and we're tracking time and all sorts of things. So if you would like some won't charge you anything, just like if you want advice on that, just use the resources page on the Get in Touch. Just send us any questions you want, and we'll answer them for people of this conference. Yeah.
Question for you.
Okay, I'll get to you now. Yeah.
Have you decided most of your pricing, like per month, in like South Africa? How would you? You're not going to charge your customers $50 a month.
No.
But I mean, like, how do you decide? Like, what's your average price you could charge
Well, it depends on what you're delivering.
Based on value, yes, but like for you, what have you found is like, what is something that people would sign up for? If I could put it like that.
So what we do is we have a support services company. So we look at our cost per hour of the service that we deliver, and not just like literally on the time tracker or whatever. And we estimate, and there's a lot of guesswork involved as well, but you need to make an educated guess, I guess. So I took a look at how much does it cost per hour, how much work will each of these levels be, and then I price that accordingly, knowing how much I pay per hour for staff, for example. Yeah. Well, it could be labor cost, but if you're selling physical goods, then you have to take that into consideration, like the cost of sale, like your production cost or something like that. So that's a business. So yeah, if you can, I would look at the cost of producing or acquiring the product plus labor cost and shipping fees. Yeah, exactly. You had a question?
Yeah. When you were configuring the membership options, there was a setting where it was, for example, weekly, monthly, for the
Yes, yeah.
initial cost, and then, but when you selected monthly, for example, I didn't see any option there where you could configure the date of payment. Is that something? Not out of the box, but there are add-ons in the premium library that you can use to take advantage of that. So if there's lots of documentation as well on the Paid Memberships Pro site about that, and in the support forum as well. So there is ways you can do that. Well, there are ways you can do that, but not out of the box. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so his question was around storing basically user information. So I know that a lot of talk has been happening around the POPI Act in South Africa and stuff like that. So you would have to be, if you're doing it in South Africa, you'd have to be POPI compliant if you're storing people's personal information. But you don't store any credit card information or anything like that. That's handled by the payment gateway, and you should never store credit card information. So that's like the SSL already, like that's like step one when it comes to security, and just make sure that you don't use admin as your username or something. But there's a lot of again on that premium support form there you'll find more detailed information regarding that. But if you keep your site updated and you use a good security plugin I use is WordFence, I would look into that. And just keep your plugins updated and your themes updated. I think you should be okay. And when it comes to the POPI thing, just do research on what you should do to make sure your site is POPI compliant if you're doing it in South Africa. And the other question? Yes. Like Twitter or something, not because people are signed up to it, but because people trust Twitter or Google for the information.
Yeah, there are also add-ons. I'm not sure. Are there premium add-ons for social logins? I'm not sure. Yeah, there are premium logins for social sign-in on Paid Memberships Pro as well. So you can actually, once you install it, I can actually show you. If you go into the Paid Memberships Pro plugin and you go to add-ons, there's a whole list of plugins that, and some of them are not, not all of them require you to sign up for the premium offering, and there's so many bells and whistles here, such as social sign-in or affiliate program, or if you want to do approvals first. So I would recommend once you've installed Paid Memberships Pro, look at the add-ons
tab over here, and you'll see like a very extensive list of extra bells and whistles that it can do, such as that. Yes.
Evan, do you have any tips for someone who's like starting a membership site on how to kind of like get the word out there that, you know, a user like can sign up for your membership, and maybe like specific tips that's helped you to keep that kind of value going, because it's all good and well to set up the site, but you have to actually attract people.
Yes.
And ultimately, like you say, add value. Like I know it's almost like a talk in itself, but
Yeah.
have you got any quick tips
Well,
that has worked for you?
Well, the lowest hanging fruit would be people that you've already engaged with. So, like maybe existing customers from, in my case, I had MPG, which was like just a web design agency, and we had like a few people in the States, and a lot of them were asking, you know, do you guys do support? And then that's what led me to that. And then I first went for them, and then I delivered very good customer service to them, and then like most of our business initially just came from referrals from delivering good service to them. So that's your lowest hanging fruit. And then absolutely blog, you know, every week if you can, like 1,500 word articles up, and use Yoast SEO, and use Buffer and link all your social accounts to Buffer. And like, just if you have that foundation going and you just start with that, that's what I would recommend. But the lowest hanging fruit is people you already know, already engage with, and then convince them to sign up. And that's it worked great for us, because we don't need thousands of customers to be, you know, we need a handful of people that we service really well, and our business works. So yeah, thanks. Yes.
Sorry, you mentioned Buffer. What's that?
Yeah, I should probably elaborate. Okay, so that's a whole nother talk in itself. So Buffer is just a social media automation tool. So you plug in your social media networks, and then it schedules your posts for you. So you can sit down and do your whole month's Facebook post. But it's like with growing the site, like it's like this is what like HubSpot philosophy of inbound is. Your site is like the middle of the wheel, the hub, and then all these other things that you do, blogging and social media and all these things, are just the spokes on the wheel, and that leads you into the website where, and you need to have like landing pages and campaigns, and if you can afford it, and if you do it well, like something like Google AdWords also works really well, but I would recommend setting it up nicely before just throwing money at it. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Evan. That was really, really good. Who wants to start a membership site now? Yeah. It was a really cool talk. Really enjoyed it. So just a little bit for tomorrow. We get going registrations from 8, like today, and then we get going at 9 again. Everyone is in this room tomorrow. We've got a couple of sessions throughout the day, and should be really good. So I'll see most of you tomorrow morning. Awesome. Enjoy your evening.